I can show it to you in a little demonstration afterwards. I recommend, if possible, sitting down and closing your eyes. Okay, so start opening up your energy field. We feel we are separate from everything that exists. So we have a boundary outside of our body, energetically. So when I close my eyes, I see people's energy fields, and the energy, that transmission that comes in basically tells me what to clear. I felt a lot of fear, like a lot of fear, because I just thought I messed up my life because everything just was so different.
You could have given up, but you didn't. You could have stopped believing, but you didn't. You could have kept living their expectations, but you decided to make this life your own. And in turn, you're here. Hello everyone, today we're meeting Eva Muller. She is the divine channel, the energy healer, and the spiritual teacher. Hello Eva, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Anna. It's so nice to be here on your podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's start a conversation by exploring your path to spiritual awakening. So what was the pivotal moment in your life where you start on that spiritual journey, and what would be the stages of level of consciousness that you went through? If you can just briefly describe your experience for our listeners to really understand how it would look like if they experienced that.
Okay, yeah, great. Okay, so the moment when I started to be interested in spirituality was really when I started meditating with guided meditations. And just to briefly share why I started with guided meditations. So my life, I really like my life journey was like I lived a very normal life. So I went to school, university, and all of that. But I never felt fulfilled, or I was looking for my life purpose. And I kind of couldn't find it. And then I read books about self-development and also listened to podcasts. And I learned I have to transform my inner world to also experience like more joy and love and freedom and peace on the outside as well. And that led me to guided meditations. And there was this one guided meditation I did. And I went into a very, very deep state. So I basically lost all awareness of who I am, about my life, like my life story. So all Eva was gone, my life was gone. I was just in a space of pure freedom, peace, and silence. And there was nothing there, but it felt really, really amazing. It felt so freeing. And yeah, so I really, really enjoyed that. And I stayed there for a while, like 20, 30 minutes. And then this was just something where I knew, okay, I want to experience more of that. There must be something more to it I didn't know before. And this basically made me curious. And then I started to meditate with a group, so online, just on Zoom, and meditated twice a week. And the person who led that group transmitted energy, but I didn't really know what it was or how I didn't feel energy at that time. So it was just a silent meditation for an hour twice a week. And for some reason, I stayed with it, even though it was really hard. You know, first you sit for an hour in silence. I mean, the body doesn't want to sit and the mind is going like crazy. But anyways, I felt there was something more to it. And yeah, I just kept on doing it. And after about like 3 months, my body adjusted, my nervous system adjusted, and I started to feel energy. So I felt tingling all over my body. I started to see light when I had my eyes closed. I started to get visions. So just all those sorts of experiences started to happen. And also it was easier to sit in meditation and started to become more enjoyable. And in that group, so that it's a group about spiritual awakening, so awakening consciousness, I learned about what it was, because I had no idea before. I mean, this wasn't really the purpose why I went there. It was just I wanted to meditate. And I learned about the levels of consciousness. So they are, so the ones I went through is self-realization, unity consciousness, Brahman consciousness, and para-Brahman consciousness, and then further. And I basically, by just meditating and doing one-on-one sessions at that time with the teacher, my level of consciousness progressed. And basically self-realization, because you asked to share beforehand how what they exactly are. So, you know, self-realization is when you realize you're not your body, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're something else, and you're kind of watching yourself from the background. So this is self-realization. So just observing yourself. You step into that observer perspective, and you observe your life. So everything that's happening is observed. So you start. So I basically started when this happened. I started to see beliefs I had that were driving me, patterns I, for example, inherited from my parents or from society, beliefs, patterns. Then also emotions that were triggered up. So I was just aware that these things were happening in my system. I wasn't aware of that before. So that all these things were going on. And also my vision changed at that time. So everything looked like looking through a camera lens. So it was very fascinating. The vision closed down and I looked at everything and I was just like looking through a camera lens. So life started to feel a little bit more unpersonal because of that observer perspective. And then unity consciousness is really when you become one with everything. So the ego steps into the background, the small self, the identification with the small self dissolved. So I experienced it as just a ball of energy in the center of my chest, and it got ripped out of my chest. So it was gone. So what I thought, who I was, and all my life story and everything was just dissolved, like in a split second, basically. And then also, we feel we are separate from everything that exists. So we have a boundary outside of our body energetically, and this boundary dissolved completely. So I became one with everything. And then the next, so that I stayed in that level for like 1.5 years, and basically what it needs to integrate into your life experience. So you need to actually start realizing this, going through your life experience. Oh, I'm actually one with everything, and realizing this in every aspect, in relationships, in your job, in interactions with people. So it just integrates into your everyday life. And also what happened with that shift, I was aware, or I became aware, because we have a mechanism in our system that pushes down, or that's possible, that we can push down emotions, so all energies that we don't want to feel, right? So let's say trauma from this life experience, just low vibrational energies, experiences we had and we don't want to face, we can't just push it down. But with that shift, this mechanism dissolved as well, and everything basically just blew up in my face. So it was kind of a hard time, because I was expecting, when I become one with everything, I was expecting to live in bliss and love and joy and, feel fulfilled and all of that. But at first it wasn't like that at all. It was total opposite. And it was really, I felt a lot of fear, because I just thought I messed up my life, because everything just was so different, when this dissolved, just how you see life, how you experience life, it's very impersonal. Before it's very personal, then it starts being very impersonal. And that made me very fearful, and all that fear came up, and then anxiety came up, then depression, and just other low vibration energies. I quite suffered for a little bit for like 2 months. And then I started working with somebody who helped me to clear stuck energies out of my system. And this is basically what I'm doing today as well. So I help people to clear energies that are stuck in the system. So everything that we don't live through, so all experiences we don't live through the emotions fully, they get stuck in our system. And for most people, this just happens all their life, like from childhood on, all their life. So there's a lot of energies piled up. And all these energies are mostly low vibrational ones. So, and this is why often energies get triggered, like fear or anxiety or hate or anger, or all these energies, because they are in our system. And yeah, I just learned that they can be cleared. And working with a healer, she helped me to clear these energies, and I experienced less and less of them. So I was more aware of that I'm one with everything. So I'm basically not Eva, but I'm like all that exists. And also the joy and the love and the bliss was just there. And every time an emotion got triggered up again, or past experience got triggered up, it got veiled. And then I kind of worked on it again to see the unity and so on. So this was like work for nearly 1.5 years, where I cleared so many low vibrational energies out of my system that basically the experienced stayed open of the unity. So it wasn't veiled. So before it was just veiled. And yeah, and let's say before, so in the 1.5 years in the beginning, let's say low vibrational energies came up. So the clearing happened 10 times a day. And then in the end, it was like once every month. So there was so much clearing happened that the system was really emptied out. And so a lot of just joy was there, joy of just living this life. And yeah, and then the next level is Brahman. That's very different. So Brahman is it's beyond creation. So everything we experience is in creation, but Brahman is beyond creation. So when you shift into Brahman, everything you experienced before stops. So there is nothing there. It's total emptiness. So you look into creation from the Brahman perspective, and then everything just manifests in front of your face. So when you look at something, it's there. For example, when you interact with a person, the person is there. You see the person, and when you look away, the person crumbles. It's gone. The person is gone. It's the same with everything. Everything you look at, then I realized that. So when I looked into like the distance, it looked like a movie screen, and everything between me and the movie screen is 3D, is created when I looked at it, and behind there is nothing. So it's really my own consciousness created this. And yeah, and in Brahman there is no emotions. So there is nothing. You don't experience love, joy, you don't experience hate, anger, nothing. You have no experience of an emotion. It's like that. That's the only thing you experience, nothing all day long.
Emptiness.
Yeah, and pure emptiness. There's nothing there. And after like a while, aspects started to come back in, so human aspects, because I felt like I didn't want to live that way. I know a lot of people really enjoy that because then they are aware of the human experience and they want to escape the human experience. But I knew there is more to it, and I kind of didn't want to stay there, although it's full liberation, because you're totally liberated from all the suffering in that state. So then I decided, okay, I don't want to live that way. And I asked basically if the human aspect can come back in, and this is the para Brahman. So aspects started to come back in, like emotions, for example, unconditional love, then not human love, but unconditional love. So the same love for everybody. So there is no difference anymore. When I look at people, like it doesn't matter if it's my partner, family, friends, or a stranger on the street, everybody is exactly the same, except there is like a draw to certain people, to their being. You feel more drawn to their being.
Right.
And what I realized basically in Brahman is that we are not a human, we are pure beingness. So just beingness, that's it. That's what we are behind the human. And yeah, in Brahman, in Para Brahman, a transmission started to come in, an energy transmission. So energy started to come in that I could transmit to people. And I just started to sit with people, and they enjoyed that transmission, and transformation was happening for them as well, for them. And yeah, and then a healing aspect started to come in. So that transmission basically started to teach me how to heal. And heal, I mean clear low vibrational energies out of people's systems. So exactly what I went through as well. So that I can live a happier, healthier, more enjoyable life, which I'm living today. because when you can clear trauma for good out of your system, and it's all on an energetical level, like also all issues we have, they're all first on an energetical level, and then they manifest in the physical or in our everyday life experience. And when you clear them on an energetical level, then they can just go, and then there is more space for higher vibrational energy. So the transmission I'm working with, that can come in, and it basically overtakes that space, and you can live from a higher truth, and also have access to your highest potential then. So this is how it unfolded for me.
Wow, it's beautiful. It's like a lot to take in, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people have a lot of questions. So let's just start one by one. So for me, like what stood up is you mentioned low vibrational energies and emotion that really stuck in our bodies through our lifetime. And everybody has the ability to kind of like clear those energies either by themselves or with the help of somebody who has this transmission going through them of a high vibrational energy. Is that right? Is that how it works? And if yes, can you just like tell us how this transmission comes to you? Like, what do you feel, and how do you know what to clear in other human beings, and how do you work with them to clear that?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, everybody has those stuck energies in their system, exactly. And I'm just going to explain how I see this.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, life flows through our system. So life energy, it flows from the root to the crown chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And all we are doing is experiencing that experience, that energy that's flowing through, and it manifests as an experience. And the optimum way how our system could work is that the energy flows through, we have an experience, we fully live through that experience with all our emotions, senses, all of that, and then it fully leaves the system. But it doesn't, because it gets stuck. So for example, when it gets stuck, we live in the present moment, but as let's say something happened 2 weeks ago, something we didn't prefer, and then when we think about that, the energy gets triggered up, the emotion comes up to the present moment where we are right
Yeah.
now, and then we basically live in the past, right? um and so we hardly ever live in the present moment. It's always past and future. So it's always a
Mm.
projection, but it doesn't really exist. Just the experience exists. It's part of our how our system works, but it's not the optimum way. The optimum way is that we live in the present moment all the time, and that we can't tap in past and future, because they collapse, they're gone. So the possibility is just gone. Um, and yes, there are a lot of different ways how these stuck energies can be cleared. There are different energy healing ability modalities that can do that. For what I did, I worked with a healer. I did like a pranayama and visualization technique that brought up karma.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, by holding your breath and doing certain what's the word? You do it like 10 times, hold your breath for a minute, and then just
Mm-hmm.
different kind of breath work. It brings up those emotions that are stuck in the system, and then you can live through them, because most of the
Mm.
time you have to live through them to get rid of them. um, what I do is, so when I close my eyes, I see people's energy fields, and the energy, that transmission that comes in, basically tells me what to clear. I can show it to you in a little demonstration afterwards if you want.
Yes, I
Yeah.
would love you to show us a little demo so we all have a taste of it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. And where I work is on the core level, and it's only emotions there. So this is
Mm.
those are those energies. The rest are just the stories we are creating on top. So every human lives in their stories, right? And they are just created on top of those emotions that are beyond there. And I clear those emotions that are stuck there, and I can just clear them. It just happened that way, and then they're gone for good. So they're not coming back.
Wow.
And it really works with that energy transmission. So for some reason, when I experienced the Para Brahman, a transmission started to come in. I knew this is kind of a thing because my teacher had that as well, and I knew people who were on that path before, and they had the same experience. So I kind of knew this would be a possibility for me as well, that I can work with a transmission. So it basically, I just felt it coming in, and I feel it as it has a certain qualities, and energy with a certain quality. I feel a tingling in every cell of my body. Um,
Mm.
I see light when I do it all with my eyes closed, but I also feel it when I have my eyes open. And I just started intuitively to get information, or to know what the energy wants from me. So I basically started reading that energy. And in the work I do, so I work with groups, for example, do guided meditations. I share the information of that transmission. And also the
Mm-hmm.
transmission tells me where to clear which energy. And I work with the chakras, but it's not really because the energies are stuck in the chakras, but it's just a representation and it's easier to work with. So I would, for example, clear fear out of the root chakra, could be stuck anywhere in the system. I just clear
Mm-hmm.
it and then it's gone. Yeah.
So once it's clear, is it gone for good, or is still like some time that has to pass to clear the everything that's stuck in the body?
Yeah. Okay, so when I clear it, it's gone for good, but there are layers. So let's
Mm.
say, I don't know, when we were 35 years old, we had 35 years of piling up stuff. So we kind of clear layer after layer in that kind of
Mm-hmm.
way. So it's not that we can clear all at once. It's a process. It's an unfolding process. And it's also like our system, the more low vibration energies we have in our system, the denser it is. So if we would open it up right away, like completely, it would be like too much. We couldn't handle that
Yeah.
big of a change. So it has to be an unfolding process. Yeah.
Wow.
Was there another
So
question? No, I think that answered the question.
yeah, that answered. So I think like it's just a process that you just mentioned, layer by layer, you come to the really like the ground layer of it eventually, but you will start feeling lighter and lighter each time you receive that transmission of high how
I
would you
call it the
call it?
highest truth. I call it
The
of the
highest
highest truth.
truth.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You feel lighter, relieved. You have a more positive outlook on life. You feel more
Mm-hmm.
joyful, and all of that. And this also manifests in your life experience. Then, so
Mm.
things that are not serving you or not your highest truth, this is why I call it the highest truth. So when
Yeah.
people working with me for a while, they start falling away, or they choose to leave that behind because they get aware of it. Okay, this job is actually not something I want to do, or this partner I don't want to have. Or
Right.
so there is more awareness coming for people, and also opportunities are coming in which are already there. So we have everything is already there for us. So abundance, all the potential, what we need in that present moment is already there, but mostly we can't access it because we don't see it, we're not aware of it, because we're stuck in these low vibrational energies. And by clearing the
Mm.
low vibrational energies and being connected, so this is actually a new project I
Mm-hmm.
just started like a few months ago. I connect people to that transmission of the highest truth directly. So it doesn't need me as a channel anymore. So usually I sit with people in like meditation on Zoom, or I
Yeah.
have YouTube videos or stuff like that. But there people can connect directly and be connected 24/7. And so you
Mm.
receive that 24/7. It doesn't really matter if you feel energies or not. It's not about that. If you do, it's great. If you don't, that's totally fine. It's all about what it does. So it works on your system on a cellular level and transforms your system towards your personal highest truth. So you basically pull towards your optimum timeline. And
Mm.
so all the possibilities that are best for you can start to come in. Again, it's an unfolding process. So I don't know, people report that they start getting healthier, they're more motivated to do sports, eat healthier,
Mm.
just to have a more healthier lifestyle, more positive outlook in life. They're more motivated to do things they haven't done before. And also opportunities are coming in, or the right people at the right time, the right messages at the right time, or
Mm-hmm.
you have a question, for example, oh, how does this work? And then it pops, I don't know, a book pops up somewhere, and this is
Oh,
exactly
wow.
what you need to read, or a YouTube video, or this podcast maybe for somebody who
Yes.
is looking for answers. So this is basically then normal.
Mm.
This is just how life unfolds. It's just the unfolding. So it's not us doing it. So it's not us living life. I mean, this is not how it is anyways. It's really life living us. And we can choose our outlook, like how we see it, how we perceive it, how we want to
Mm-hmm.
experience it. So this is basically our free will and our part of that. And yeah, and that's what the transmission of the highest truth is doing. So it works for your highest good.
Wow. So basically, we live our life through our lens of perspective, right? So we perceive it, and the experience of life that we have based on what energy state are we in. If we are stuck with that low energy vibrational state, that's what we're gonna see kind of like reflected in our experiences. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
So also you mentioned that, from root chakra to crown chakra, this channel, right? Like we have to live through the emotion fully to like let it go pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And if we didn't, at some point, it's gonna start piling up. And
Mm-hmm.
with the transmission, when, for example, you have this group transmission, right? Like if somebody is um, attending your workshop or like your meditation session, they receive that, but they don't really live through that emotion that's being like cleared. It's still the same, right? It's the
Mm-hmm.
same effect that they will receive.
Yeah. So let's say 90% of the people don't need to live through them, but there are just some, they're still living through it. So afterwards, they might not feel so great. So then I get an email, hey, Eva, I thought I'm going to feel great after your session, but I don't. And it's just basically clearing is happening. There was a lot piled up for that person, and just a lot came up, and the person has to live. I cleared a lot out for the person, but still has to live through a few of those energies. But it mostly like only lasts for a day or two, and then they feel better. So yeah. But
So you
usually
kind of,
you don't need to live through it. Yeah.
I
It's
see.
just
So it's
accumulate.
kind of getting cleared, but if something like, let's say, triggered, it could also clear after a few days, after attending that session, let's say, and it's just could be like a process that it's not right away, but it takes a little bit of time to clear the full effect of that energy on your body, right?
Yes. Because sometimes you need to be in a certain situation so that you are
Mm,
receiving that trigger. And this
yeah,
might be only 3 weeks after the session, for example. And then
right.
the emotion can come up. But what the transmission does, and also what I assist the transmission with, is I open up the system so that life energy can flow easier.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also how we experience life. So after a while we experience life more being just a flow, so everything is flowing. Also when we are in a trigger situation, or we are in a situation we don't prefer, or we live through low vibrational energies, it's really, they just pass through a lot quicker, so we're not stuck in them forever. Like there are people who are stuck in one of those energies for 30 years or something, right? Because the neighbor, I
Mm.
don't know, cut my tree and they're still annoyed about that neighbor. So it's really everything passes through a lot quicker, and then it's like it's gone. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't really tap into that anymore. And before you can, yeah.
Right. Yeah, interesting. And also another question that came to my mind. So you're talking about the highest truth that is really, I guess, unique for each one of us,
Yes,
the
exactly.
passion and the purpose that we are here to kind of like follow. But in order for us to hear or to see what needs to be seen, we first need to clear that, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to receive certain experiences that for our highest truth to unfold.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a process, and yes, everybody has their personal highest truth. So it's just a transmission of the highest truth, and it pulls you towards your personal highest truth. Certain
Mm-hmm.
things need to be cleared. And then, or if you maybe you have done already a lot of work or some work, then the pull happens a lot quicker. But in the end, you're always pulled towards that, and it's a process. So every
Yeah.
day gets a bit, let's say, better. Except, of course, if there's a clearing happening, then you don't feel great for a day or two. But it's a
Mm-hmm.
process, and if you look at it, I don't know, over a year or two, for example, just an example, it's like a different life. Like when I look at
Mm.
my life from, let's say, when before I started this journey and meditation and discovered all of that, and now it's like it's black and white. It's such a difference how I feel, and the possibilities I see, and how I live my life. I mean, I was working in real estate and law, totally
Mm-hmm.
different. Now I work in energy healing with people from on Zoom from all over the world. So it's like life is so different, and also how I
Yeah.
how I experience life, and it's so beautiful. Being in the present moment, experiencing whatever needs to be experienced, and then the experience leaving the system fully. It just leaves the
Mm.
system. um yeah, and this means just really embracing and enjoying the human life experience a lot more. So we don't need to escape through spirituality,
Right.
because this is often an escape route. Okay, I don't want to feel, I don't want to have anything to do with the human or with earth. I go and meditate. And my work is basically, yes, it's doing this on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's very grounding. So you have the embodiment of all of that right away of that work. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's all about us embracing and embodying and living human experiences fully with the highest potential that we can, really. And
Yeah.
it's also, I feel like, our responsibility to do something about helping ourselves to step into that position where we can see it for ourselves, to experience that. And it's our choice as well. Like you mentioned, some people use spirituality to escape present moment, but also it has, I think, other more beneficial effect, which is what we should really look into, of how we can live that human experience in more enjoyable state of being, I would say, because it's available to all of us. Is that right?
Yes, it's available, and the beauty is that life always gets simpler. So when there is less noise in the system, so those low vibrational energies, those emotions are like a noise. They're noisy, we don't really know where to look because there is so much going on and so many thoughts, and it just gets more quiet. And when you have more peace, inner peace, and more quiet in your system, then of course life is more enjoyable and everything gets a lot easier because you don't make the drama. Because that's what the
Right.
mind, for example, does, right? It can think about one thing for hours and hours and create the craziest stories. And then we also experience the emotions with those stories, right? So we are creating something that's not even there. And this is then not there anymore. The possibility is not there anymore to do that, or at least less and less over time. And it gets a lot more quiet and life gets a lot simpler. And, you only need to do the necessary stuff. So, for example, you want to start a project and there wouldn't be like those voices saying why you shouldn't be doing it and where you could
Yeah.
fail, or, the fear of it. You just start a project and you just see where it goes. And there is nothing that's holding you back, nothing. You just do it. It's all about you do it. And that's all what it is, only doing it. There's nothing coming towards it, no noise, no nothing. It gets very simple.
I think it's
Yeah.
more like an inspired action. Like you live in that experience, you feel like what is the something that you inspired in the moment, let's say, and you follow that easily without any kind of like made up scenario of why would you fail, right?
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly like that, but it's not then in the end. So just a moment. It's really like from the time you get up in the morning until you go to bed, it's just there all the time. And I think that's so cool because yes, it's great to have those moments, but I always wanted to have more of that, like feeling more freedom and more inner peace and just more of that joy. I mean, just the joy of existence, for example. It's like we don't need any, like there's nothing that we need that brings us this joy, like buying something or having a
Yeah.
experience, like going out for dinner, or I don't know, like something, treats or anything. It's just because you exist, there is joy because of the fact. And
Right.
this is what we are, like what our true nature is, like on the core level. So we are pure existence, and that pure existence has this bliss also of existence and this joy of existence and this unconditional love there. And it's very beautiful to live from that place. And what my work is doing is basically it helps to bring this in. It doesn't really matter where people are on the spiritual journey or level of consciousness or anything. It doesn't really matter. I bring in those experiences for them already more and more into their current life, because those levels of consciousness, they come with certain experiences and certain aspects, certain changes in the energy field in the system, how the body works, how the energy field works. And I changed that beforehand already so that you can live from there more already.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow, so I think now is a good moment for us to have that demonstration of the transmission, if you can just bring that in and for all of us to experience that for themselves.
Perfect. So I recommend, if possible, sitting down and closing your eyes. If you don't have that possibility, don't worry about it. You can do it later as well. But just because, and feel into your body and just be in an open, receptive state and be relaxed. So yeah, I'm just going to remove my headphones 1 second. Okay. I need like a minute to tune in. And then so that the energy already starts, and then I just start sharing. Okay, so I start opening up your energy field. So I work with my hands on an energetical level. We only work with intention, but hands are like our intention. So it's easier with working with hands. So I'm just opening the energy field. I bring in light. So light is pure information, higher information, and that can come in into our system. Then I expand the energy field. So our energy field is bigger than our bodies, like our physical body, and it can always be more expanded. And the more expanded it is, the more light can come in and the more light we can hold, also meaning more higher information. So I'm expanding your energy field. And I fill up the expanded space with light. Then I clear surface energies. So surface energies are energies that you've been exposed to over the last 1 or 2 days, or emotions that are floating around the top of your system, also triggered up over the past 1 or 2 days. So I'm clearing those emotions and those energies. So those are the ones that are creating the most noise in our system. So I'm clearing them. And basically, by clearing them, right away more light is entering. So that's how I see it in your energy field. Right away, more light is entering your system. And then I also clear thoughts. So thoughts is just energy on the mind level. We have personal thoughts. So, when you think about, I don't know, what to get when you go to the store or who you want to call, and just things that you think actively. And then there are the random, I just call them random thoughts, basically the thoughts that are like those stories that are created, that our mind is creating. They are basically the random thoughts. I clear those because we also don't need them. And then I open up that central energy channel I was talking about before. So basically it goes from the root to the crown chakra. This is where life energy flows through our system. So it flows from the root to the crown chakra, falls back down left and right, and flows up again, and so on. And the more life energy flows, the more energy also we have available, and the more we experience life being in a flow. So if we feel like we're stuck and you know, life is not unfolding in a good way, it's mostly because life energy is not really flowing. We're holding on to certain energies that it can't pass through. It's as simple as that. So then I'm accelerating your life energy. And I help it to flow more. Then I clear. So the energy now shows me to clear worries out of the mind level. So worries, I clear the energy of worries. Worries. So I clear worries, the energy of worries. So just on the mind level, worries about the future, about what you need to do today or tomorrow. So just worries about your everyday life, about your job, about your family, about friends. So all sorts of worries that are currently in your on your mind level. So I clear those worries. It's just energies. And that's so interesting. When those worries are gone, we just don't think about these things. It's as simple as that. And just because the energy of worries, when the energy is there, we think about things that are worrying us and we're creating a story. Okay. So the best way to get rid of things is clearing those energies out of the system. And what usually humans are doing, they start avoiding, for example, those things they don't prefer, or they try to work themselves around it, or they try to change circumstances always on the outside. But it's really just clearing the energy on the inside, and then we don't need to do anything on the outside. It's as simple as that. So, okay, let's have a look what else I can clear for you today. Yeah, the energy of stress. Third chakra. So I clear the energy of stress, also stress around just daily life things. So there's stress around that. Then also stress. So stress that comes in that is in your system and triggered by outside circumstances like people around you, and also yeah, how to say it best, the circumstances that are in your environment or in your surroundings. So all the circumstances that are causing stress. So I just clear the energy of stress from all those circumstances. So it could be like personal nature because of friends and family, but also like just in the environment, in the country, in the city. Okay, so clear that. And then heart chakra, I clear a few energies out of the heart chakra. Just the closing off, closing yourself off of feeling. So I clear those energies that don't want to feel emotions, especially because they don't want to feel low vibration energies and they rather don't feel. So I just clear those blockages, because of course it's easier not to feel, but it also holds these energies in our system. And when that energy is gone, we just live through an experience, and then it can easier pass through the system and just leave, and that's it. Because this is what we're here for, right? So we are here in a human incarnation to have a life experience, and that experience comes with emotions and living through them. This is just part of the body-mind system of the human experience. So we can't escape it. It's really about how we live through them, and are they getting stuck or are they moving through? And then also how we perceive them. For example, when we live through anger, we can live through that emotion in like 2 seconds or in 2 days, or also 5 days. You know, it's really, this is what it's all about. Maybe we're just angry for a very short period of time. Then we know, okay, oh, I'm angry. And that's it. So we got the information we needed, we lived through it, and that's it. or we're stuck in it for 2 days and we think about it and we go back into the anger and so on. And we basically holding on to that energy of anger. So because I'm clearing of anger, I clear the energy of anger that is here right now. So second chakra, I clear the energy of anger. So anger towards people who weren't nice to you and weren't respectful and weren't respecting you for who and what and who you are and what you're doing and your work. There's just a little bit of anger around that, especially anger towards authorities, and there is that anger, so I clear that. Okay. All right, now there is just a lot more space in the system, a lot more light is flowing. Okay, and then I bring in, or the energy is coming in of more inner peace, that's coming in, so that you can just experience more inner peace in your system. So maybe you can feel how your body relaxes a bit more. Everything just calms down a lot more, like you just calm down a lot more in an enjoyable way. So not in a tiring way, in an enjoyable way. And this is basically the energy of inner peace. So I let you sit with this for a minute, and then I close off this little meditation. I let you sit with it because it just manifests in your system, in every cell of your body, so that the information of more inner peace, or inner peace in general, is can manifest more in your system, and then you can live more from there. You can experience it more when you like get up and you're going into your day. Okay, we are finished.
Wow, I feel so much better, so relaxed. And it just took, what, 5 minutes? I still like under the effect of that inner peace, so calmness. Yeah, it feels amazing, actually. Yeah. And
nice.
I would advise people to really look more into the work that you do. And I know you have your own YouTube channel, right? And if you can just share what other platforms they can find you and what are the name, so they know where to connect with you online.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So I have a YouTube channel. It's called EM-Healing. And there are a lot of guided meditations, also silent meditations. Then there are a few videos where I just explain or talk about certain topics. Then I have a website. It's www.em-healing.com, and I offer a free healing meditation every Thursday at 9 o'clock Central European Time. So which time zone you're in?
Right now I'm in New York. It's Eastern Standard Time.
So I'm not sure. I think it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. People would have to look it up for you. So it's 9 o'clock Central European Time. So everybody's welcome to join. It's like a half an hour of chat, questions, chatting, and then a 15-minute guided meditation. and also the automatic energy transmission I was talking about before. So where I connect people directly, I have a separate website for that because, yeah, it's something just very new, that you can basically click a button and then receive a transmission 24/7. And it's called NextElevations, so www.nextelevations.com. And there are a lot of videos, information, how this even works, because it's something new, I guess. And there is a 2 weeks free trial if people just want to experience it and see how it feels for them and how it manifests in their lives. Then they can just try it. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. We're gonna also add in show notes for people to see and check it out if they wish to. And I'm so grateful for this conversation. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and wisdom. And as we close today, what would be the final thought for our listeners?
The final thought would be, I would love you to be open to this new possibility that energy can just come in and transform your life. I just, be open to that possibility, because I feel like we live in such amazing times these days where new possibilities are coming in for all of us and new tools. And and this is just what I want to share. Yeah.
Thank you
This
so
openness.
much. Yes, I hope you enjoy your day.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the amazing questions. I really enjoyed them, and you are really, really nice. And thank you for having me, and thank you for listening, everybody.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit the subscribe button and share it with others. Stay tuned.